Thank you and good afternoon. This is Sam Vaughan for Sam Sports Report. Today's date is Wednesday, April 8th, 2026. Sorry I haven't been with you the last few days. It's been a little busy and I just didn't get it done yesterday. I'm sorry to say. But the Michigan Wolverines won their game on Monday night and are the national championships. The Michigan Wolverines looked really good this year after Thanksgiving, only losing 3 games this year. Michigan won 69-63 over UConn.
Elliot Cadeau
Was the most outstanding player in the NCAA tournament. The Michigan Wolverines are the national championships, as we said, for the first time since 1989. One of the most best teams lost, which was Chris Webber's team in 1993, the Fab Five, as most famously known. They were very good. They also reached a national title game in 1992 and lost. So they end their national title misery from 92 to 93. And of course, we just read they won back in 1989. Yeah, Alexa Lindenberg, who played well throughout the tournament and probably may have won MVP if it wasn't for his MLCL injury. He just did not feel good, saying he felt awful, but was able to come back with a better second half, and that's how they won. And again, the Michigan Wolverines are your NCAA 2026 National Championships. Yesterday, North Carolina hired Mike Malone, former Denver Nugget head coach, won the most games as a Denver Nugget head coach, and won an NBA championship, and then surprisingly got fired after having a few down years at Denver last season. Mizzou player T.O. Barrett intends to transfer into the transfer portal likely. That is according to PowerMizzou.com and Gabe DeArmond. Also, Flory Bagunda intends to transfer from the University of Kansas. So we'll see how they fill those roles. The transfer portal is open, and I'm sure there will continue to be news. I may just not be doing it. In baseball, the Royals lost yesterday. The Royals are a game under 500. Let me be honest with you right now. You cannot give a baseball assessment right now. We are 10 games in, or 10 games in. I can give you the exact math. We are 11 games in. 11 games in. I can't give you a honest analysis of that 11 games in. But I do wish they were playing better, as they are 5-6. Obviously, that'd be easy to wish they were playing better at 5-6. But said you can't give them to an investment until the month is over. So I'm waiting on that, and then I got to do my prediction for baseball standings. Cardinals, but in baseball right now, Cardinals lose to Royals lost yesterday 2-1. Cubs beat the Rays 9-2. Cubs are 5-6. The Cardinals are 6-5, 7-6, and the White Sox are 4-7 as they lose 4-2. The Cubs and the Cardinals are off. Now we move on to what is anxiety disorder. You may say, well, everybody has anxiety. Yes, but not everybody has anxiety disorder. Anxiety disorder is a debilitating disease. So let's get to that. Honestly, I never knew I had anxiety disorder until I was about 24 years old, which I guess they say is normal. About 2.7% of the general population have general anxiety disorder. I would like to check with my mom, but I've never knew I had anxiety disorder. I guess it's normal that you don't get diagnosed with it until you're 20 to 40s. So now you may ask, how do you cope with anxiety disorder? Well, using the Calm app, using exercise, and other things is a good idea. Join a support group. Get out, exercise. None of these have cures. unfortunately. But you're going to have to use the medicine that they give you and try to do what you can do to help yourself. An anxiety disorder is simply you worry about things that are not currently going on, or going on that are. An anxiety disorder is something that you worry about that isn't going on. For example, I always worry about somebody getting in a car accident, and that is a fear that may present to you that you have anxiety disorder. And if you do, that's something you need to get help with, because it is something that can be debilitating. But getting outside, doing other things, trying not to think about those things, is the best way to manage anxiety disorder. That is Sam Vaughan Sports and Sam Vaughan's Mental Health. Here's our video.
Maybe you were studying for a major exam or taking care of a seriously ill family member in the hospital. You couldn't think clearly and you had a difficult time sleeping at night. Each one of us has experienced anxiety and knows what it feels like to be anxious. However, when anxiety controls our lives, that might mean that there is an anxiety disorder. 1 in 3 people may experience an anxiety disorder in their lifetime, but in good news, anxiety disorders can be successfully treated. Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Paula Tran and I am a child, adolescent, and adult psychiatrist at Stanford University. In today's video, I will cover the following. First, the purpose of anxiety. Second, what causes anxiety disorders. Third, I will focus on 2 types of anxiety disorders, generalized anxiety disorder and social anxiety disorder. And lastly, I will go over the general treatments for anxiety disorders. The purpose of anxiety. Let's consider how having some anxiety can be helpful. Anxiety was meant to prepare us to react to life-threatening situations, such as being chased by a large animal. What happens when the brain senses danger is this. The brain tells the body to be on high alert, to be ready to run away from the threat or fight to stay alive. Chemicals called epinephrine, norepinephrine, and cortisol are released. As a result, the heart beats faster and breathing increases. Blood rushes to the parts of the body that aid in escaping the threat. Keeping us on our toes, extra alert, and ready to run is helpful in times of danger. But when the brain and body are constantly on high alert, it prevents our brains and bodies from functioning at their best. It becomes a disorder and can even be harmful in the long term. Having some anxiety day to day is normal. For example, if you're getting ready to ask someone out, it's very normal to have anxiety. If you're studying for a test, it's normal to have anxiety and even beneficial because it makes sure that you study and be prepared. However, when the anxiety becomes constant and gets in the way of you doing things, it can signal that there is a disorder. If you're finding that you're avoiding situations, you're not able to do the things that you want to do, if you're experiencing a lot of physical symptoms of anxiety, that might mean that it's time to seek professional help. Many times people experience anxiety as mainly physical symptoms. So people might report a lot of stomach aches, headaches, lots of aches and pains, a lot of muscle tension can be signs that there is an anxiety disorder if the medical workup has been completed and nothing was found. Causes of anxiety disorders. The causes of anxiety disorders can be passed down from your parents or shaped by your environment. This means you might be at higher risk of developing an anxiety disorder if there is a family history. Your life experience and situations and how you think about them might increase your risk as well. It is important that you mention to your doctor when you notice new or worsening anxiety symptoms, since certain medical conditions can cause anxiety. If a medical condition is identified, fixing the medical problem can also fix anxiety. Anxiety disorders as a group involve excessively thinking and worrying about what might go wrong in the future. There are many different types of anxiety disorders. Let's talk about generalized anxiety disorder and social anxiety disorder today. Generalized anxiety disorder. In generalized anxiety disorder, people disproportionately worry about many different topics on most days for at least 6 months. Worries can range from thinking that a loved one will get injured or sick or that a natural disaster will occur. People with generalized anxiety disorder think that the worst will always happen. These worry thoughts get in the way of daily activities and interactions. Muscle tension, sleep difficulties, irritable mood, feeling unable to relax, and tiredness may all be present. Children and teenagers may have medically unexplained symptoms like tummy aches and headaches. Most often, generalized anxiety disorder first appears in the late teenage to early adult years. Because generalized anxiety disorder affects a person in many areas of their life, for example, how they interact with family members, how they interact with their peers, how they interact at work, perhaps it appears during this time frame in the late teenage to adult years because at that point in life, individuals are able to be part of many different settings.